I'm going to make just a couple minutes of remarks, and then we'll go back to hearing Mr. Hutchinson play some music for us. Thank you for being here and for doing this. And then a few minutes later, we'll go ahead and do the Luminary Award. Let it get a little darker, so the lighting of Ascent will be a little more dramatic for you. I think when that time comes, you're all going to have to push and huddle in the back out by the window, and we'll count it down, and you can cheer the lighting of Ascent one more time. But I want to thank you all for being here today, especially on such a cold day like this, to come down. We do appreciate it for what is our first Winter Lights celebration and the first Lincoln Luminary Award. It's been 2 years now since Ascent, the tower, was dedicated, and Tower Square was dedicated on the winter solstice of 2014. The solstice, I think many of you know, has historical significance in many cultures over literally thousands of years. It's commonly celebrated as the rebirth of the sun and the beginning of longer days and hope again. Many have written about that tradition, and I wanted to share just a small little part of one of my favorite poems about the solstice, and it's by Susan Cooper. It's called "The Shortest Day," and this is the feeling that struck me most. The longer days again begin with the winter solstice, and with the longer days comes the sense of renewal and the hope for spring and warmer days ahead and longer days. And it goes like this: as promise wakens in the sleeping land, they carol, they feast, they give thanks, and dearly love their friends and hope for peace. And now, so do we, here, now, this year, and every year. So that's kind of the idea of this particular celebration, and with this tradition of marking the longest night of the year in mind, starting today, Lincoln will begin its own annual tradition celebrating the promise of the longer days ahead, and present the Lincoln Luminary Award to an individual that lights the way through his or her actions or values. But first, I want to again acknowledge those that collaborated with the city to create this gathering place and this centerpiece for downtown Lincoln. The Downtown Lincoln Association, with Terry Ewan at its leadership, helped develop the vision. Terry, are you here today? I think Terry is here today. Raise your hand. Thank you. The Lincoln Parks Foundation led the fundraising effort for Ascent, which was designed by June Konecko, and I think Christy Dionyasopoulos, the leader of our Parks Foundation, is here. Christy, thank you for all your work on this. And then the Lincoln Community Foundation manages the endowment for Tower Square and Ascent, and an endowment that ensures that future generations will also enjoy this place. I also finally want to be sure and thank all of those who contributed so generously to support the acquisition and construction of Ascent. So now, before we present the award, let's just take a few more minutes to relax and enjoy Will Hutchinson's music. Come on up here, Will, and for those of you who do have children.
Hello, everybody. How's it going?
And for those of you who are still children at heart, Santa Claus is here, you may have noticed, and Mrs. Claus, so say hello to them if you would, too. Will, take over for us.
Thank you, Mayor Beiler. This is definitely on my bucket list to play a show where the mayor is speaking at, so thank you for that. And it's really great pleasure for me to be part of the first annual Luminary Award. I think it's going to be a really great thing that it grows into, and I think it's wonderful to find somebody in Lincoln that's doing great things every year. I think it's going to be really cool. And if Lincoln was in the game Sim City, I think they would be winning right now, because yeah, the Lincoln Parks and everybody involved here, my family enjoys so much that Lincoln has to offer through the city parks and with the new rail yard. It just seems like Lincoln keeps growing. So anyways, I don't know if you guys saw, but there's hot cocoa and cookies in the boxes back there, so make sure and get those. And then Mr. and Mrs. Claus are going to be hanging out here, so feel free to move around. I'm going to play some Christmas songs. If you want to sing along, please join in. And I actually, for any kids in the audience, I brought some instruments, so if you'd like to join me, come on up, and you can be in my band. All right. You know Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen, but do we recall the most famous reindeer of all? Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names, but they never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve.
All right, well, now we're about to do the Luminary Award, and we hope this is going to be an ongoing tradition. It's time for the very first presentation of it tonight. And after the dedication of Ascent 2 years ago, we started discussing the idea of honoring an individual who sort of shines with the same luminescence as Ascent itself, and who does so through his or her actions and values. Leadership Lincoln took the lead in this effort, engaging a committee to develop the criteria for the award. And I want to thank former Executive Director Dean Finnegan for starting the process. Is Dean here tonight?
She was ill. Okay.
And she passed the baton along to the current director of Leadership Lincoln, Mick Hale, who's here tonight. Say hello to Mick. How are you, Mick? So a huge thanks to that Leadership Lincoln committee, again, who developed the selection criteria and facilitated the selection process. Peter Allman, Tom Beckius, Randy Bretz, I know Randy's here tonight, Valerie Hunt, Colleen Jones, Andrew Loudon, Dan Warrens, and of course, Dean. So the committee felt, in thinking about the matter, that the recipient should embody the following attributes: someone who has displayed consistent and intentional positive actions over a lifetime, someone who has gone above and beyond in making an impact on the community and on our citizens, and someone who has demonstrated the values of Lincoln. I can tell you that I reviewed all of the finalists, and it was a very, very difficult decision to make. Thankfully, there are many, many citizens in this city who on a daily basis meet the criteria that I just described and who actively work week in and week out to make this a better place to live. And by virtue of that, I hope you all agree, it's become a fabulous place to live. So without further comment, I'm happy to announce that Randy Hawthorne, who is standing to my right, is the first recipient of the Lincoln Luminary Award. Right? Let me share with you quickly what others have said about Randy. His good friend Jay Wilkinson had this to say: "I've worked with Randy for 25 years and he's never ceased to amaze me with his appetite to serve. In fact, Randy has had more presidencies than Zsa Zsa Gabor has had husbands." I hope you got more satisfaction from those presidencies than Shasha apparently got from those worthless husbands. In all sincerity, he has dedicated, Jay goes on, in all sincerity, he has dedicated his life to serving others. Lincoln would not be the same without him, nor would the hundreds of young people that he's mentored over time. I can't imagine a more apt description of Randy than Lincoln Luminary. From another friend, Randy Bretz: "The list of Randy's accomplishments is impressive, but what's more impressive to me is the man's character. Randy Hawthorne is an example of one who doesn't serve to be recognized, but serves to be a change agent. Randy has been involved with the Lincoln Community Playhouse, Rotary Club number 14, Leadership Lincoln, the TEDx program, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, the Gathering Place, the American Marketing Association efforts, and the efforts of many, many other nonprofits in this city who have benefited from his boost and from his mentoring. He also, Randy Bretz goes on, he also mentors young professionals to develop leadership and entrepreneurial skills, and for 20 years he has worked with the Lincoln Leadership Program with middle school and high school students. Put another way, Randy Hawthorne works with many organizations. He contributes great ideas to help them improve and lives an example that serves to encourage those around him." So Randy, we are deeply appreciative of everything that you've done. We believe you truly epitomize the meaning of this award. Your actions, as relayed to us by those that know you best, demonstrate that you have gone above and beyond and have already made a significant and lasting impact on Lincoln. So I thank you on behalf of all the citizens of Lincoln, and we're pleased to present you with the first Luminary Award, which is very heavy. Please say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you to my nominators. I always say that it's much more about the nomination. And thanks to all of you for making Lincoln a great place to love. I hope I continue to live into this award.
Oh, no. I am not to be trusted. Here, we'll let you figure out how to put it back in the box.
And there's the embarrassing parts.
All right, we're going to finish this up with a few words from a great council person who's with us tonight, Carl Eskridge, a great supporter of this award, a great supporter of the arts in Lincoln, great supporter of economic development in Lincoln, great supporter of moving Lincoln ahead. And he's going to say a few words, and then we're going to try to get you all to move back to the window in the back so you can watch Ascent. Light it up.
Okay.
Carl.
First of all, congratulations, Randy. Tremendous job. You've done great things. Your leadership in empowering nonprofits in this community and matching them with individuals who have great talents and interests and abilities, and just in bringing those people and organizations together, you've done tremendous good for the community and for those individuals, and increasing their gifts and in growing their talents. So, only thing you could say with the Luminary Award is brilliant. Okay, great job. So, as Mayor mentioned, in just a moment we're going to go around the corner. You can stay inside, and we'll light the tower. That's the purpose, really, of tonight, in addition to recognizing Randy. We gather tonight to celebrate the winter solstice, that point in time when the sun is at the lowest angle of the earth here in the northern hemisphere. The days are the shortest and the nights are the longest, not to mention the coldest. We're here tonight, this darkest time of the year, celebrating hope. It was out of darkness when the prophet Isaiah proclaimed these hope-filled words. Incidentally, he proclaimed them to a people who were captured and living in exile. He said to them, "The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light." Just this last Friday evening, was leaving the Capitol after a day's work, and you remember what it was like last Friday evening. It was rainy, it was icy, it was cold, it was dark. And as I stepped out onto the sidewalk carefully by the Capitol, I heard a bird. And I took a bird watching class in college. I hate to admit it, but it did. And so I recognized the bird, and I looked up. And in one of the tall pin oak trees surrounding the Capitol, what did I see? A robin. A robin. Well, that's a hopeful sign. Spring must not be far away if you're seeing robins. We come together tonight to share our hopes that we will ignite this beautiful tower that June Kaneko created for us, a tower so aptly named Ascent, because it lifts our spirits. It brings joy and light to all of us, especially on the darkest of nights. You see, if you're ever around in this area, on this block, you see the incredible power of this light, this tower of light, that attracts people and brings people together. All times of the year they gather and they have their pictures taken. Sometimes summer evenings you'll see people just pull up a chair and sit next to the light and use it as their reading light. It's the power of Ascent. It's the power of light, bringing us joy on the darkest of nights. And so as we prepare to light this tower, I'm going to ask for your assistance. First of all, we're going to go around the corner. So follow me and let's go around the corner.